Y'all, it's our last day. It's our last day. It's our last day. We are on day 7 of 7 in our 7 books in 7 days. Y'all, today's read is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I have gotten so many comments on this book on my socials and how this book was specifically about to tear me up, and that's why I saved it for last. I saved this good one for last. So this audiobook is about 10 hours and I have the physical book on me as well. Of course, we're gonna take y'all through the reading journey. So let's get into it. So I'm desperately feeling for Claudia right now. Like, I really do feel for her. She knows that there's something wrong, but she can't tell anybody what's wrong. Kind of feel like she's also a little dyslexic, or she has some sort of something is going on with like her in English, and the way that she writes the notes, with the way that she's spelling things. I definitely think that there is something that is going on. I don't know if that's going to be revealed, but yeah. So far, it is a great read. I'm really enjoying the story. I'm a bit nervous to see like actually what has happened to Monday. So we're just gonna keep reading because that's all we can do. When I started off my day, I did not know it was gonna end like this. If I look like I've been crying, it's because I have been. I was actually reading this and kind of getting a little bit frustrated with Claudia, because it felt like she needed to let go. I didn't want her to let it go. I definitely didn't want her to let it go. But it just read very frustrating because no one was listening to her. And it was just like we were definitely on at the pleading, begging, but the choices that she was making were just not safe for her. My feelings towards Monday's Not Coming is that this is for the forgotten children, and it left me extremely speechless. I really wish that I had the proper words or something like that to speak upon my feelings of the book, but honestly, I don't. The way this book made me feel, and I wouldn't even say when I found out everything that happened to Monday, like while reading Claudia's POVs, the before and the after, I just felt like something was going on with Claudia as well. I was reading it earlier in the day and I was like, I feel like Claudia's dyslexic. And that came true. She was. And she had a very hard time struggling through it, hiding her hand, feeling the shame of being different. This book really highlights the internal struggles of what it's like to go through middle school, the peer pressure of it all, and also being so wrapped up in one person. This story also does a really good job of Claudia's self-reflection. But the way that Tiffany D. Jackson just blows my mind in this book was actually spectacular. Claudia definitely did feel very much like an eighth grader while reading this book. And that was the whole point. that was truly the whole point. Um, I really did feel like we got to know Monday through Claudia, and seeing reading the experience that Claudia had and the life that she had, because she had two parents. She came from a two-parent household that was very supportive, just wanted nothing but the best for her. They kept her busy, kept her in activities, while her friend, who lived no more than maybe no maybe no more than like maybe 2 minutes up the street from her, how different the social economic differences in just that 2 minute drive down the street, up the street, around the corner. DC is a city where you get a little bit of everything in the socioeconomic class. Living in the metro area, actually, I see it on a day-to-day basis. Working in the city, I see it on a day-to-day basis. So reading this book, knowing where most of the general locations, the historical locations, the historical neighborhood in which this story takes place, was just eye-opening. And as someone who works in television news, I really did feel the story and the socioeconomic impact of the story. I said earlier that Claudia read like an eighth grader. It felt exactly like that. And to see, to read everything Claudia has been through, this book was just her reliving the trauma of her losing her best friend. And the way that it was written and the way that the story unfolded was extremely tough. I really wish I had more to describe the depth in which I felt for these characters. One thing that I will say, especially after reading Fast by Millie Belizaire, is seeing the word fast in a book like this and describing a 13, 14-year-old girl, and not just any girl, a black girl, was very triggering. And that was the whole purpose and the whole point, was to make you look at that word and you're wondering, why is an adult calling a 13, 14-year-old girl fast? They don't use that term with boys, they only use it with girls. I really, really enjoyed how this story played out. Seeing Claudia, reading Claudia, and I always say seeing because of how well, and how I always use the word seeing because of how descriptive things are, that you can definitely see and picture everything in your mind's eye while reading. Seeing what Claudia went through, the lengths that Claudia went through to find out what happened to Monday, was damning, I will say. She was definitely a brave girl who understood that something was absolutely wrong. And it does not matter how old you are, you just need to be able to speak up. With that being said, Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson gets an absolute 5-star from me. We made it to the end of day 7. we made it to the end of our 7 books in 7 days challenge. Whatever I decide to do next, I hope y'all enjoy the ride, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.